Welcome back, friends, and as always, thank you for your patience during that break. We've got one more game of Starladder EU today. I know it feels like we just started, but it's a quick day. The second two matches of today were both postponed. Both teams opted to use their wild cards, so that's going to be it. Blaze is now joining me for Compass Gaming versus X Game. Blaze, old buddy, old pal, how you feeling today?
Doing pretty good. Had some awesome games this morning from SCA Dota. Had some Lakell's Morphling play. Had a 72-minute awesome back and forth game. So, man, even if this game is something else, it's still going to be an amazing day of Dota for me.
Absolutely. Now, Blaze, before we get into this draft, I want to let you know I did a little bit of recon work. I got your back, buddy, and I finally figured out how to pronounce this name, Arte, Artez. It is neither of those. It is just Arts. Just an extra E in there, just for good measure. Just a silent E. It's just arts. You know,
Nice.
like I have multiple works of art. I don't know. It's a weird word, but there you go. We finally figured out the mystery, and I'll stop inappropriately calling him Arte. I guess he actually is not French after all. So there you have it. There is a stand-in for X Game, though, worth mentioning. Before we get into it, Gasha is here for Equal once again.
Yep, and you got the chance to check out Empire versus X Game a little bit earlier. How did Gasha perform? What would you say?
Gasha played all right. He was in the support role on Rubik, but honestly, I think X Game were a little doomed from the start. They rolled the dice and went with the old anti-mage pick. And as you would probably imagine, Blaze, we talked about it but 2 days ago. He doesn't fit into this meta, and he did not fit into that game. He stuck out like a sore thumb, and sure, he had a well-timed Battle Fury right around 13 minutes, not too shabby, but after that, they just put the pedal to the metal. They had two Blink Daggers, and Solo played a pretty mean Earthshaker who got a decently timed Blink as well, and after he got that, it was just all over. I mean, AM tried to go for a Yasha after that, and I think he needed the BKB, I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, there's it's a hard choice to make when you're already on the defensive so much. So, I mean, obviously there's a lot of ways to look at it, but like you said, it seemed kind of doomed from the start. And yeah, now you're looking at something a little bit different at the very least, or we hope so. Obviously, we still have 6 picks to go, but for right now, it's a Skywrath Puck opener, a lot of silence on the table, but that's not exactly what you want against a Razor. Like, he's not one of those heroes that really cares if he's silenced. If he's cast a Static Link Eye of the Storm, he's good to go. So in this position, maybe they're just using to control any of these squishier heroes, but X Game, knowing what they're up against, they just draft anything a little bit tanky. Compass are going to have a hard time with things. Anything with good heal, anything with good sustain or durability. Compass Gaming are all about the burst magic damage, and I just, if they draft with that in mind, they should be able to pull forward in as far as the initial matchup goes.
Yeah, they're already off to a good start with that. They pick up the Wraith King to go with their Razor, and he's pretty damn tanky. Whether he's going to be a support or he's going to be a carry, having that second life does just put him in a whole nother tier of survivability, I suppose one could say. Compass will ban out a couple of pushing heroes there, the Rasta as well as the Pugna, but that won't stop X Game. They grab one of the other pushing supports. That's the Twin-Headed Dragon. I know a hero you're quite fond of, Mr. Blaze.
Yeah, he's definitely brings a lot to the table, and there are merits to him. He obviously has a share of weaknesses as well, but he's received enough like buffs in terms of turn radius and cast animations and strength gain to make him very viable in this scene. And when it comes down to it, he just adds so much to the death ball because not only is he going to be pushing down towers, but he's going to be bringing a lot of damage for the fights as well. So in this position, he's got enough durability to be played as a support, but in this case, I would hate to see him mid. I don't think he'd go very well against the Puck, and obviously we're talking about making sure that the Razor can tank up quite a bit. So he needs to get some core farm. Obviously, he'll be in the mid or the safe lane, but if they want to make sure that the big hitters are the hefty ones, then they're going to have to put Wraith King in a farming role as well.
Yeah, and that could certainly be an option. Still very hard to tell. Pretty open-ended draft, and Compass will take their time as they decide what they want to follow up the Skywrath and the Fairy Dragon. Even Compass have a bit of flexibility here. We've seen plenty of off-lane pucks and even some safe lane pucks when they go for the aggro try. So a lot of options here, and this pick should kind of at least help steer this draft in the direction that they want to go, and they will certainly take their time. X Game did ban out a couple of carries, the Morphling as well as the Slark here.
Yeah, so interesting ban out there. I mean, that's something that Mantis would like to play. Like the Morphling, the Slark, those are good late game oriented heroes that still have some presence in the early game with their skill usage. So that's definitely something up his tree. But if they're just wanting to make sure that they get the full control of the map and don't have to worry about that late game threat, that way their time isn't ticking as quickly. The hourglass kind of gets a bit of a stopper, then I would say that that's going to be better for them. So they're going to be looking for still a lot of momentum. The Clockwork's going to be looking to initiate at long range, but in general, the big thing that X Game needs to do is prevent Force Staffs from Compass Gaming. Vengeance Sky, both pretty apt to picking those up, but X Game, if they can get cogs, if they can get good lockdown with the Razor can stay on a target for a long period of time, that's going to be the main ticket for them.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely right. And there's that Clockwork pick for X Games. So that'll be their off laner, and this last pick will either be a support or a carry, basically, depending on what they're feeling for that Wraith King. Now, Compass still have a lot of options as well. They've got plenty of silence, as you mentioned, and now they've got some decent control. Venge with the swap as well as the stun, the Dream Coil as well. They will need their position 1 of sorts, and they do have some options. Mirana is still in the pool, which is something that Empire used the last game to much avail against X Game. And with the Vengeful Spirits, Skywrath, there is some pretty serious kill potential there with the Ancient Seal, and Missile is pretty decent setup for the arrow. Not the best, but it's sufficient.
Mm-hmm. Got some people in the chat calling out for the Techies pick. What do you think about that for Compass's lineup?
Oh, boy. Wow, they're going to have to inject some hacks here and get Techies into competitive or captain's mode. But I'd love to see Techies. Sure, yeah. I've only seen them in the low-tier pubs that I play in, so I'm sure there are many a Techies trick that I'm not privy to yet.
Yeah, there's actually a couple of SCA teams that played Dota 1 that still pick Techies, so it's a hard hero to win with, but he's a bundle of fun nevertheless, at least in his own right.
I found him a bundle of fun to play against, not so much to play with. That's my motto. But it is a Spectre pick for Compass, and this is sort of interesting. We've seen Spectre mostly just as a counter to Tinker, and actually saw Spectre banned out in the Tinker game earlier. But I wonder if Compass will be going for more of that classic Radiance Rush, or if this will be more of that fighting Spectre that's been sort of on the rise with that earn first into either like a Vanguard or straight into the Manta. I don't know. It seems like that fighting Spectre build is the future.
Yeah, a lot of activity is going to be important because otherwise you're just going to get run down and pushed down. The Razor's going to get too big, and the Spectre just won't be able to do enough. The Lion is a really interesting pick in my mind. He does bring a couple of things like a really long duration Hex, even at level 1. So here, like, Puck might not be able to orb away, and if he's trying to go for the offlane, then that's not going to work for him. And it looks like it is. Queen of Pain is far less prone to the offlane than the Puck is, so if this is a supportive Lion up against an offline Puck, we're going to see a lot of orb cancels where illusory orbs, but isn't able to get the jaunt off, and that's going to make his life a nightmare.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting to see a Queen of Pain pick as well. Only a few players really comfortable with her in this day and age. Mushi is the big one. You still see him play Quap every so often, and sort of the weird niche pick, but I'm pumped up. I like seeing Queen of Pain. Korok is another one that does like to run her on occasion. But all right, here we go. Any thoughts about the drafts overall here, Blaze? Do you like one over the other?
I like the momentum-based lineups in general, so X Game's going to get a lot behind them there. That gives them more room to grow in general. Like, Mantis is going to be playing the carry Wraith King. You can't go wrong with that. I mean, yes, there is the potential of mana burn through Diffusal Blade long-term, but in general, Wraith King's a great hero that can execute well at all levels of the game, and they just have great levels of control. Like, a couple of good hook shots will get the picks they need to push down every tower in the game, and from there, it's on Spectre to really find farm and just dig deep to be able to pull forward with that. So we'll see. Potentially a First Blood movement got him in not the best spot, but behind the tree line, still going to be perfectly fine. And the smoke will actually break for the Jakiro, so both catching sight of each other now.
Yep, the jig is up, and X Game have a pretty scary level 1 skirmish here. Team composition. I don't know why I'm stuttering over that so much, but Wraith King is pretty well suited for it. But a couple of stuns. I think they could have secured a First Blood had KPG been a little more poorly positioned, but alas, hovering around that Tier 2 tower, they will be safe and sound. On the side of KPG, they'll take the Dire. It will be Gorik on the off-lane Puck. That does put Jet in the mid lane on the Queen of Pain. And up top, it will be a safe lane try. We've got PSM on the Skywrath Mage, Goddamn or Gotham, maybe that's the appropriate pronunciation, onto Vengeful Spirit, and Arts, he'll be on the Position 1 Spectre here, ready to farm away with his Stout Shield and Slippers of Agility in tow.
So Lion gets a double damage rune, helps out with a quick deny there, gives Whatafaka the Creequilibrium back a little bit, and then he's going to make his way down bottom. It should be a fairly even matchup between the Razor and the Queen of Pain. Once she gets her blink up, the static link isn't as much of an issue, and it's not that matchup where you have to go, oh, well, if he has boots, I have to have boots, and so on and so forth. It's really more about usage of skills and timing. So we'll see, kind of back and forth between those two, but I think it's going to be more important when the Queen of Pain rotates than anything else. If she goes for an ultimate at level 6, if she feels she has the mana for it, or things of that nature. So we'll see a little bit of derision there. Otherwise, probably not too much as far as roaming and ganking. Right now, Lion doesn't have a smoke, neither does the Jakiro, and it's harder and harder to gank a Razor these days, so we might see passivity on that side as well.
Up top, Stallcat takes a stun, but of course he does have Cog, so if they man up on him too hard, does have that get a jail-free card. And, oh, we got some new Clockwork cosmetics here. Look at this. The Artisan of Havoc Helmet. Interesting. Look, I got to get used to that one. He looks kind of like Gyrocopter, except outside of his copter.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, they're both Keens, so they have similar territory and engineering there.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's interesting that the Skywrath Mage went for the Arcane Bolt as his first skill. Essentially, that really limits their kill potential, but gives them extensive harassment potential. He's able to zone the Clockwork card. There's no way that he's going to be comfortable trading heads with Sky with every single 5 seconds. He's going to be hit by that big magic nuke. So, in this position, he's just going to keep pulling the wave back, cogging whenever he can, and making sure the Radiant Creep Wave is falling underneath his own tower. That's where he gets the experience from. Still, if there is some good jungle play coming out, which will be spawning at the 2-minute mark, then maybe they'll be able to keep enough control over it to nullify what Clockwork's attempting right now.
Yeah. And off to the start, or out of the gate, it looks like a pretty even spread. The only kind of disparity here is the puck. He's finding a slightly better laning stage than the Clockwork. Already level 2, found a couple of last hits, and old Clocky here in the top lane is getting pretty effectively zoned out. But still plenty of time to recover. It's interesting thinking about Quap against Razor in the mid lane, and it's one I haven't really considered, but the blink just kind of changes the whole state of the matchup. And you see Razor already just completely skipping static link, recognizing that there's just really no point, no chance to get a serious amount of damage drain. Unless the Quap mans up on you, but of course, any skilled Quap knows you're going to have to reserve that blink to break the chain, so, or the link, I guess, as it were. But there you go, Plasma Field primary for the Razor.
Yeah, he's not going to put himself in a position where he has to 1v1 the Razor hard, and the Unstable Current point is actually pretty important too, because it does deliver some damage back to the Quap whenever she Shadow Strikes, and that's her main gap closer other than the blink. If you're going to initiate, you need to initiate where he can't just retreat under tower. So casting the Shadow Strike makes you both slow for a brief period of time and makes it hard. I wouldn't be entirely surprised to see actually static link ignored or just kept at 1 or 2 for extensive periods up till like level 11.
Yeah, certainly could be an option as well. 2-minute rune, it is going to be at the top position. It is just a regeneration, so not one of those super valuable runes, given that Quap does not have a bottle in her inventory. Yeah, I didn't think so. So we'll just get picked up by the Vengeful Spirit, and he'll head back towards the top lane. Clockwork making a rotation over, but we'll just have to head back up, and still struggling to really do anything. Right now he's pretty much a Clockwork without a home. Well, I guess his home is the top lane, but he's not particularly welcome.
Yeah. Got him rotating around. Could have actually had a chance at sniping the courier, but just walking over the observer ward, that's not going to happen as well. Actually, look at its positioning. It's kind of hanging out around the tier 2. Looks like Whatafaka wants to go for a bit of Bottle Crow action, and that would definitely imply a max plasma field build if he's going to be emphasizing his mana pool that extensively. Oh, barely misses on Jet. That would have been a huge amount of damage, dropping him down to close to 100, but instead just outside the range barely, and Jet's in a decent position in this lane.
Yep, and up top, got him looking for initiation on his Stallcat, but he's a step ahead. Nice cogs on the high ground. Will drain a little bit of mana, but now he could be in some trouble. Magic Missile will come through. Do they have the follow-up damage to make this a kill? There's the Spectral Dagger. It looks like they'll dive it. And no, they won't. They thought about it, but the Spectre won't go for it. And I think if the rest of KPG were in a slightly better position there, that could have been a kill. But close call for the Clockwork there.
Yeah. Always risky business when you don't see the Lion on the map as well, because he could just be TPing away and has the double disable underneath the tower, a 0 armor, a 4 armor hero. Both of them going to be shredded pretty quickly. I guess Venge is lacking more in HP than in the armor department, but even still, that tower certainly hurts, and the tower dive would have been a risk they didn't need to take. So they'll keep the passive laning phase going. That's going to be what they generally want to promote for Arts as Spectre, and he is going to have phase boots at a pretty good time.
Yep, Poiman and Shield into phase boots. And then again, we'll see where he goes from there. If he has a lot of space to farm, he may start pulling up for the Radiance and see how far he can push it, but be prepared to, just take a stop off for some drums or something like that for a little bit more of a mid-game fighting style of build. Jet will grab the 4-minute rune. It is a haste, quite obviously here, as he just heads back towards mid lane. Looks like he does have a bottle coming out on the old courier there. And, ooh, actually a double bottle. The other one coming for Gorek and the off-lane puck. And he's already picked up his boots, but he'll be bottling up as well.
Yeah, the fact that the pull hasn't really been contested too much on the Dire side has enabled them to really zone out this clockwork, but the puck's not having the best of times either. He's still level 3, he's doing better, but you want to be on the forward momentum when you have a puck. I mean, the Dream Coil is good utility, but in general, oh wow, they really want that kill, but it's not going to happen. Yeah. Anyways, in general, like, you want to have your magic damage mean something when you're going for Ganks' puck. And in this position, he's got that level disadvantage. He's not even going to be out-leveling supports. It's a rare to see that happen.
Yeah, he will find a little bit of extra experience here as they shove into the tower, and he does position himself appropriately so that they don't connect. The Ice Path, kind of close, but not quite there. Wraith King doing everything very standard. 3 points in the Wraith Fire, that one value point in the stats, and then the Mortal Strike, actually, instead of the Vampiric Aura. All right, that is a slightly different than, I guess, what we're used to, but they will press into the tower here and start chipping away at it, and again, Puck will find a little bit of extra experience. Now hitting level 4 and getting that first point in the Silence. Clockwork, now closer to level 3, has grabbed the second point in Rocket, so we can find a couple of stray last hits here and there, but it's been a pretty unsuccessful play as he is still 0-0, almost 6 minutes into the game.
Yeah, Wraith King's build right now with the treads allows him, it kind of reduces mobility, but he does have 3 spells available, maybe 2 stuns and a reincarnate. We'll have to see exactly how that kind of settles. But right now, the fact that they're pushing so many creeps into the tower implies they want to take it soon, especially with that rank 2 liquid fire. Even the Razor rotating down, they really do want to get that gold in their own pockets, but they do have to commit a little bit harder. 487 HP, and Puck just does what he can to counter push out and delay. In the meantime, Quap will be bottling up a double damage rune, and that could mean the death of the Clockwork quite easily. Stallcat has no TP. He's being pincered in by essentially 4 heroes here, and just has to book it to his tier 2.
Yeah, now there are TPs on the supports. Both the Lion and the Jakiro can make a rotation. Nice scouting with the Rocket. He sees the rotation. Great map sense in general. And Stallcat will be okay, at least for now, but well, look at this aggression. They'll cut the lane, and they'll hang out for now. They'll ping it out, and maybe they'll even shove some creeps into the tower here and start chipping away at it, as Arts is still in pretty much free farm heaven. There is a tower push down in the bottom lane, and Wraith King will secure the last hit on that one as Puck is forced back to the tier 2. This could be scary for our Dire team here, though. If they commit to this tier 1, I think XGame will just commit to this tier 2 tower, and they have the pushing advantage.
Gorek's out of mana, so he really can't do anything here but just pull back this one last creep wave. But that Liquid Fire just keeps it coming, and you really can't push faster than XGame's lineup. Liquid Fire is a great tool for nullifying the tower's potential damage, and I don't exactly know why he went all the way back to side shot for boots, but they're still getting some good damage on the tower while he's not here. But this gives an opening. KPG can rotate through. First the Skywrath, and there's the Haunt.
Yeah, they'll go right in onto Reeves. He gets silenced by the Skywrath, first to fall in the fight, and that is the first blood drawn. Arts does survive for now, and they'll continue to press forward. Jet with his double damage rune on goes on to Mantis. He's not yet level 6. So he is that valuable target as the position 1. They will continue to press forward, but Ice Path on the Vengeful Spirit. That'll finish her off. Now Jet, one more auto attack will bring him down as he takes the Liquid Fire. He'll even burn down as the Jakiro secures the kill. Oh boy, KPG do get the first blood, but not the turnaround they were hoping for as Jet way overcommits.
Yeah, and it's just because Gorek doesn't really have anything to bring. He's now got the 3 points in Orb that'll give some counter push to the next creep wave, but the Haunt wasn't strong enough with the Plasma Field just breaking down all the illusions immediately. Razor picks up a haste rune, looking to maybe kill Arts on the mid lane. But yeah, it's just in this position, they're the ones kind of going for the slow rotation. I don't know, the kill in the line's really good, and that will definitely give them some traction. Who actually got that one specifically?
The
Skywrath did. Okay, so he was pretty much doing the brunt work on that one. But In this position, you don't want to go for like base race plays. You don't want to try to take towers while you're losing them because Gosh is just going to be all better at that. With 3 points in Liquid Fire, these towers drop so quickly and Arts gets less and less room to farm. So he is going for Battle Spectre. He is wanting a kill to kind of fill up his Urn of Shadows, but it's going to take some really good initiation to make it happen.
Yeah, Gorek gets stunned and almost enough to bring him down. We'll be able to hop to the orb, but now the follow-up is there. Jakiro is actually the first to go down as Quap hops forward and drops the hammer. Stallcat comes in with a set of cogs, and it'll be to his own death. Now Jet, the one that gets left behind, takes a Wraithfire Blast. It is a 1-for-2. KPG finding the better of it now as Mantis on the run. His ultimate's already been popped, and now he will fall. Whatafaka looking for the turn, going in onto PSM. Will find that kill. It's a double kill for Whatafaka, but now he'll get stunned up. He's on the run and may still yet survive. There is a TP scroll up on him. And
oh, wow. Man up.
Actually, turn around. He'll find the kill onto the Vengeful Spirit. A triple kill for Whatafaka. Arts will hop to the ulti, but he needs to be careful here. Whatafaka with the negative earn charge will just try to TP home, but that's not happening. Puck will secure the kill and ends a big streak. That's a huge burst of momentum for Gorek as he's now level 7 and very close to a Blink Dagger.
Yeah, all this fighting is generally going to give him more experience, so it wasn't the best way to initiate it, but at least he didn't get like 3-shot by the Wraith King. He was able to get out of that particular position, and they turned it around very nicely. So Whatafaka finds some momentum, but he's not invulnerable, and a couple of earned charges will be enough to bring him down. Still, the last hit on the tower went to the way of the Radiant. They weren't able to get to the deny, despite it being pushed over the threshold, and all these fights are happening before Stallcat even has the hook shot. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is that their main tool of deciding where and when the fight takes place has not yet come online. They're just kind of deciding it based on the tower momentum.
Yeah, very true. And it looks like Stallcat is moving towards just a fast blade mail here. Get a little bit of those spikes coming out, and he just now hits level 6. So there's your hook shot, and could start to change the state of things a little bit. Smoke popped, completely wasted his Lion. Just gets destroyed. KPG on the high ground, and that's just unfortunate for XGame. That's a little bit of bad luck. They wanted to make a rotation, and KPG were right there, ready and waiting.
So now we do see a lot of pressure coming on Whatafaka. If they can kill him a second time, this is a level 9 hero. There's a lot to be gained here, but the TP rotations come through. Clockwork has his. The Jakiro's the first one to come, and yeah, they are just in a position to turtle it up. They need to regroup, kind of push this 5, but without the Reincarnate, I don't think they're as confident in their team fight as they used to be. They're going 2 times the Blade Mail right now. Blade Mail on Wraith King as well in a few minutes, and that's just going to make it so that his gigantic HP pool really just takes advantage of the enemy. Now up on top, Arts tries to get out of the cogs, but is going to be caught out and hooked, and that's not going to be good for him. That is, you really just have to avoid deaths at all costs at Spectre, but in that case, they didn't even really have to commit hard for it.
Yep. And the Finger of Death makes it slightly easier. Even with this early fighting build, still no drums, just a Bracer and an Urn. So he is reasonably tanky, but in context of that Finger of Death, still not quite enough. Puck has now picked up the Blink Dagger, though. It is tied up 6-6, and that is great news for Gorek. Only level 8, so he still has a little ways to go, but he's made a decent recovery and at least has some momentum now and the ability to hop in and set up those big Dream Coils. There's a rotation up towards the top lane. Jet with an invisibility rune will go right onto Reeves. There's the Haunt from the Spectre, and it looks like they want the Lion. A solo Sonic Wave, and it's not even enough for the kill. Ice Path and plenty of stuns coming in. Spectre actually snipes him down with the Spectral Dagger. Now Mantis caught inside of the Mystic Flare. It'll be enough to bring him down as Jet commits to one more Scream. Now Razor with a double kill, though. He will get isolated. They finish off the kill on, got him. And it will be a 2-for-3. KPG on the back end. Arts gets pinged out. He moves into the trees with the Spectral Dagger, but they'll try to track him down. He has the TP scroll.
Oh. Where could he? I guess he thought he was off the map.
But can you even get off the map over there?
I don't think. Not as Spectre. You used to be able to as Batrider, but no. That was odd.
Yeah, that was. I'm pretty sure they changed that little glitch there where you could like hide behind the shop. This is definitely this spot and then the spot up here, the 2 most common places you'll go to TP out. So, well, Stallcat, he split the difference and just shot for the middle, I guess. There's something to be said for that. But either way, XGame do find the better of that exchange. It was a 2-for-3. They don't get the kill on Spectre, but they clean up the supports and pick off Jet once more.
Yeah, and that was actually one of their weaker team fights. Now they're coming online with Mechanism and 2 Blade Mails, and this is going to make Skywrath and Queen of Pain's lives a living hell. Going in and trying to cast your ultimates against heroes like, oh, he's in the cogs, he can't move. Well, he's still going to be returning all that damage, and you're going to take more than him comparatively as far as the percentage of HP goes. They're just too tanky. They've got a lot to chew through, and Blade Mail is just a really good pickup here.
Yeah, up top, Stallcat gets his off. As the Mystic Flare comes out, he still falls, but returns a lot of damage. KPG all low health as the Macro Pyre comes out, doesn't connect with much. What a fucker, he'll fall, no more Plasma Field for him. Gasha finds a return kill onto the Queen of Pain, throws out an Ice Path before the silence comes, but nowhere for the Twin-Headed Dragon to go, and he will take a tumble. So up top here, KPG find a 1-for-3 trade. Unfortunately for XGame, their Lion and their Wraith King were both trying to pick off the Spectre on the other side of the map, and no way to rotate quickly. No TP on Mantis, and I guess there was no TP on Reeves either, or he used it to get down to the bottom lane. So just biting off a bit more they could chew there with a hero count disadvantage.
Yeah, once they got the mechanism, they should have started 5-manning, but they tried to go for one more quick pick on the Spectre, shut her down a little bit harder, but in the end that obviously fell flat on its face.
It could have worked if they had a Finger of Death, but trying to find that pick with 2 heroes without the Finger just seems a little ambitious to me.
Definitely agree with that. But now they're actually going to fix their mistake, all moving to the top lane. They want this tier 1, and there's very little KPG can do to actually prevent it. Maybe they can fake cast a Sonic Wave, force the Blade Mailers, wait them out, and then actually go for it. But otherwise, Queen of Pain's going to bring herself down to like a third of her HP, just trying to get a good ulti off.
Yeah, now I want to ask you about this Lion build here, Blaze. He went for that value point in Hex at level 1, but now he's actually opting Mana Drain over the Hex. Thoughts about why that is?
Well, one aspect of that Hex is already a damn good spell at level 1, so as long as you have that, there's really no complaint in my mind about the build. But Mana Drain has its merits here. Queen of Pain, there's a lot of mana reliant heroes, almost all Compass are. Also, Mana Drain is a great illusion killer. Not great against Haunt per se, because you're not going to worry about that cooldown, but maybe if there's Manta style coming out for the Spectre, then you could Mana Drain one and still have time to Mana Drain the other pretty quickly.
Okay. And I guess Hex is one of those abilities that the mana cost increases quite significantly. So this line does have some mana issues. Maybe that's part of the thought process here as well. Haunt does come in as XGame commit to this tier 2 tower. Mystic Flare comes out onto the line. That'll be enough to bring him down. Mantis in the front lines does have a Reincarnate available here. Mech gets popped by the Razor, and Blade Mail's used, but to very little avail. KPG handling this fight very well as Gorak hops forward. Next with the silence, the ultimate from Queen of Pain only connects on Whatafaka. Mantis still alive as now Stallcat hookshots in right onto goddamn. He's stuck on the Macro Pyre. Certainly not where you want to be. They will make it a 1-for-1 as they trade supports. Now Jet coming back forward. XGame with a lot of low health heroes. Stallcat in the front lines though. Plasma Field doing a ton of damage. And they will find a kill onto the puck as well as the Skywrath Mage. Now Whatafaka looking to finish off Jet perhaps. He will blink to safety. He's on the run, and he'll be A-okay for now. Once again, now XGame find a great exchange, a 1-for-3, and they get the Tier 2 tower. KPG did finish off the Tier 1 in the bottom lane, but still, that Tier 2 for Tier 1, great exchange for XGame.
Yeah, the suicide was really good for the Wraith King. He just wanted them to kill him. The entire fight, he was just standing next to enemies with 100 HPs, just please pop the Reincarnate. He gets it on 3 heroes who are being afflicted by the battery assault. So Stallcat gets to stay on them the whole time, deal a huge amount of damage, and they make that fight very well in their favor. So they take the 2 top towers, only lose 1, get a lot of kills, and even that score. They're looking pretty good in this position. To look at progression, we're still going to be looking for some durability on Whatafaka, maybe an Aghanim Scepter.
Arts has 3,600 gold right now. He's very close to a relic.
I don't know if he... I mean, obviously that seems to be what he's saving for, but I don't know if that's going to be the best way to win this game through the Radiance play. But we'll see. Right now, Jet's going to walk right into the Ice Path. They will precast the Hex, but with this burst damage from the Finger, it's enough.
Yep, and he will burn down to the Liquid Fire of Jakiro. Now the rest of KPG hovering around the Tier 2 tower. Magic Missile gets thrown onto Reeves. Ice Path just barely off the mark. If that had connected, certainly would have been a dead Vengeful Spirit and probably would have thought twice about throwing out that Magic Missile. But either way, it is a 5v4 on the field right now, and they will commit to this Tier 2. No Glyph available for the Dire side, and this will be an easy push. Not much KPG can do about it, especially with that Liquid Fire. They can harass a little bit with the Arcane Bolt, but that'll be it. Tower falls, and I guess the only real positive here is that Spectre finds a little bit of space to farm and will indeed pick up that Sacred Relic and look to farm towards the Radiance recipe.
Yeah. I was thinking that it would be coming out at a time where they're already losing their high ground, but if you actually look at it, XGame aren't building up a pipe of insight. They have some great pipe carriers. Jakiro could have gone for it. The Clockwork was my best bet for it, but even the Razor, if he didn't want to have to go for hard right click, could go for a pipe. And if you look at Compass's lineup, Pipe Wave Insight is like the item you need. You're going up against all this AoE damage, the Radiance on top of that now, and they're not even thinking of it. They're thinking Aghanim's, 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 and that's great, but if they can't breach high ground because of the Radiance, they're going to be regretting that decision.
Yeah, now, to be fair, the Racer is thinking BKB, and he's damn close to it, just about halfway through the recipe. Jakiro is the one going for the Ags, and that's the one that I would say, yeah, Pipe is probably your better bet, and the Ags on Jakiro is cool, it's showy, but is it really that great? I don't think you can really make a case that it gives you as much utility as a Pipe would in this game. Clockwork working on the Egg Scepter as well, as you mentioned, and now Mantis, he'll just pick up a Maelstrom, so he's going that Blade Mail, Maelstrom, kind of right-click carry build. Nothing too crazy about that one. But yeah, you certainly make a good point. I think Pipe would be well-suited to deal in this match. Now, Haunt comes out. Reeves will bump into the Queen of Pain, and it looks like Arts will pop to the one on Gasha. Now, Jakiro kind of stuck in a sandwich here. Spectre will be able to finish off Lion. I think that was actually the Haunt that finished him off. Hookshot will be off the mark. And it will just be a support for nil exchange, or will it? Puck cops in, Dream Coil on 2, but Ice Path connects on 2 as well. Mystic Flare comes out onto Gasha, not enough for the kill, and Puck will fall. So now it's a 1-for-1, and X-Game actually get a slightly better exchange there.
The Lion is actually going to live through the Shadow Strike dot because he has Tranquil Boots that weren't put on cooldown, but Art's Dagger was able to track him down, so that was, very fortunate because that kill essentially gives him Radiance right here. He farms up 1 creep camp, he has Radiance, and that's there for the high ground. The Mechanism will be off cooldown in 30 seconds time, but that's not going to be enough to help out the creep wave, and although Haunt's on cooldown, just the one main person having that Radiance up is still plenty, so they have to make this tier 3 push count because the next wave isn't going to last long.
Yep, Glyph coming up in about 20 seconds. There's the Radiance pickup. Reincarnation down for another 5 as well. So X-Game playing with fire, but they roll the dice here. It does work into their favor. Tower taking a lot of damage, and at this rate, it will fall before the Glyph comes up. Liquid Fire just so important in situations like this. Mantis now has the ultimate, so he will continue to man up. Pops the Blade Mail and goes straight in onto Art. Got him, swaps him out. Finger of Death comes in, and Clockwork is actually the first to go down. Vengeful Spirit will buy back as she falls, but the Spectre stuck without buyback. Just picked up the Radiance, and it's just too much. Now X-Game will be able to go hard onto the barracks, and I don't think KPG will be able to hold this too easily. Look at themselves. Yeah, that's the Blade Mail right there. Oh, daddy, this is just a disaster for KPG. Now got him caught by the stun. They'll hop onto him. Dead Vengeful Spirit. That's a dieback now, and this should be a lane of racks. Puck coming in, doing a huge amount of AoE damage, but there just isn't any follow-up. Quap doesn't have the ulti and afraid to blink in and get stunned. She will take the Wraithfire Blast, the follow-up Ice Path, and I think she'll be hard-pressed to survive that one. Yep, certainly right, and it is just the lone Fairy Dragon. Sort of a sloppy engage from KPG as they lose their tower, and their racks, pretty much all the momentum that they were gathering with that Radiance will now fall. Oh, here we go. Haunt comes out. Maybe the recovery kills will come aplenty, but still none to go down. Gasha will get left behind, and Clockwork gets picked off. That'll be 2 kills on the retreat, but very small victory across the slew of negatives here for KPG. Oh, boy. They get a small cleanup blaze, but well worth it for X-Game. Now about a 10,000 gold, 4,000 experience lead.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Compass don't have a great comeback mechanic in Roche because they don't really have heroes that do Roche very well. What the Vengeful Spirit adds in the 2 points of Wave of Terror, the 1 point in Vengeance Aura, and that's about it. Otherwise, they're so emphasized in spells that they won't be able to take that quickly. So they just have to kind of find farm off the map. But that means they're going to be fighting under Observer Wards that were placed. Looks like they're expiring now, so that gives them a little bit more time, but even still, you know, X-Game's going to ramp up the aggression as soon as Reincarnate's back off CD, and that Pipe is going to be coming up pretty soon, too.
Well, would you look at that? He picked up the point booster, and then I guess they decided, hey, you know what? Pipe is pretty good this game, Jakiro. Why don't you give up on your dreams of having an epic macro pyre? Reeves will get caught in the jungle. No big loss there. Just a support pick-off, and I don't think it will yield any sort of a follow-up objective for KPG. So a kill is never a bad thing, but they'll need a lot more than that to start regaining momentum here.
And it's interesting there's a severe lack of Blink Daggers in this game in general. Reeves does pick one up as well. The Puck does, and that's kind of a core. But yeah, the Wraith King's not going to pick one up, and they're just going to be mostly relying on the Clockworks. He's got Force Staff, he's got the Hookshot Initiation, and like we mentioned before, he's probably looking to Aghanim, so he is going to be providing that long-range initiation quite frequently, but if Skullcat keeps missing, then obviously they're not going to find the picks they want, and they have to go all in, all 5, and just end this game as quickly as possible.
Yep, and most of the big cooldowns are up. Wraith Kings is cooling down right now, so he is ready to rumble. Lion is not with them, but nor is the Spectre. He'll get caught in some crowd controls. There's the finger. Mantis coming in. Arts will fall. And now this is rough for the Dire side. The Haunt will delay this push a little bit. Spectre actually has farmed up enough for a buyback, so this may not be a bottom lane of Rax, but if they can press forward and force the buyback, of course, that will be a huge expenditure for the Spectre. Hook shot forward, right onto PSM. A full range plasma field doing a lot of damage here. He will be swapped out, but to little avail. Clockwork does go down, but the rest of the team just getting cleaned up. What a fuck. A pop in the BKB, presses forward, and it is a 1-for-2 trade following that kill onto the Spectre. Now Jet coming out, Gorek harassing back as much as he can, but what a fucker. He is just getting big, and that plasma field, boy, does it hurt.
Yeah, I mean, BKB shrugs off literally everything that the Compass Gaming is bringing against him, so he's just able to go man mode whenever that's up. They actually clip the Puck with the Lion's abilities, and they will bring him down, forcing a buyback. Spectre is finally back up, but she doesn't have the Haunt. It's all about her just walking in and radiating as best she can, but Wraith King's already got a Mjolnir. Like, how do you stop this?
Yeah, and it's almost better that it was delayed. Oh, hold that thought is now Arts. He just goes in. He tries to go man mode, but just gets obliterated. Razor does fall. That's a mega kill streak down, but the rest of the KPG team in big trouble. Goddamn in trouble off to the side. Wraith King falls, but he has the ultimate. Connects with the slow on 2. And it is just X Game tearing ass around Manhattan. We see 2 buybacks coming from KPG, the Quap as well as the Spectre. They will be able to get a couple of counter kills here as Jakiro and Lion get picked off. Mantis now on the run. And Clockwork hiding off to the side, maybe looking to reinitiate. Mystic Flare out onto Mantis. He tries to survive as best he can, but will fall. And this will be a full team wipe the other way. A decent hold for KPG, but it was expensive. They've now got 4 buybacks on cooldown. And wow. It's hard pressed. Again, it is a hold, but still kind of a victory for X Game, if you ask me. This next push, they won't have those buybacks, and that'll be all she wrote.
When you can force 3 buybacks in one fight before you pick up the Pipe of Insight, there's no way that they can prevent them from taking Roche and just going for the bottom lane once again. It's almost like when in that initial engage, it's almost like Spectre's never seen a Blade Mail before, because she just kept on right-clicking. She got Mjolnired in the face by his procs and by the procs of when you strike against him. And then the Blade Mail as well. It just chewed through her HP so quickly. And yeah, the buyback was the only thing that really kept them alive, but even still, with the tier 3 as low as it is, the pipe finished, X Game are really moments or minutes away from a win here. Unless something crazy happens, KPG finds some amazing picks or get the ultis of their lives off, it's going to be a rough one.
Yeah, and on top of that, the glyph is now up, so that will buy KPG just a couple of seconds of magic, or I guess structure immunity, to perhaps try and find that perfect set of ultimates. But you're certainly right. Seems to be a little ambitious to assume that they'll be able to make that one happen. I think the pipe is the big thing that will really tip the scales. I mean, X Games survived basically 2 full team fights when KPG burned all those buybacks, and so much damage will be absorbed from this. It'll be tough. It'll be tough. Yeah, so, and look at this Skyrath build. He's just getting anything he can to tank up. Double null tally, double bracer. I mean, that's how desperate he is for HP right now.
Yep, and I mean, there's no substitute for a BKB in this situation, but he's not going to be able to farm that. He knows it, so he's going to try to just alleviate what he can. Even still, we're going to see the fortification as there's some split push in mid. They're not even going to stop. They shouldn't stop. They should just go batter down the high ground and say, okay, Queen of Pain. Oh, he's dead! Solo to a Clockwork after taking that many tower shots.
Oh, boy. Now things are looking rough. Buyback not available for Quap. It's on cooldown, nor does she have enough cash for it. And this is looking rough. Spectre gets the top tier 2 tower, but that's such a minor thing right now. We'll be able to haunt in, but got him already in trouble. He falls, and which one is Spectre going to hop to? All right, he hops to the back line. BKB pop, Dream Coil out onto 3. The Mystic Flare flies through, but it's off the mark. He gets stunned up, and now PSM will probably fall in a few moments' time. No, they'll actually throw him a bone here. Stallcat comes in, connects with the Cogs, and that will completely isolate him. Arts comes over, gets hit by the Cogs, won't be able to save his buddy. The glyph comes out as the tier 3 tower falls, and they start going hard on the racks. A buyback from the Skyrath. Gorak coming in, or Gorek, pardon me. Doing some damage to the Clockwork, but he'll be able to force staff back to safety. Liquid Fire on the structures will be enough to bring down the melee racks. Now they'll go onto the range racks. And KPG basically just watching their base get totaled right now. There's just not a hell of a lot they can do. Puck harassing with orbs on every cooldown, but at this point, the damage just tickles. Ooh, Mantis. He takes a stun. Blade Mail already on, and they don't want to jump on it. They've already been down that road. You can't hop on somebody with a blade mail. It's just not going to end well. And got him. Will get swapped as Whatafaka throws out a static link. Even if they just back out now, the damage has been done. They get the lane of Rax. Gorek, he uses the orb offensively. Now they might be able to turn on him. No, he will blink back. But Jet, caught inside of the ice path. Got him. Also gets picked off. Art. Oh, no, he's stuck inside of the macro pyre, doing a lot of damage. Now he falls. PSM gets caught by a stun, and he is going to go down as well. I don't know what that means, but probably you should GG out, friends, because this game is over.
Yeah, GG, baby. This has really been in favor of X Game for the past dozen minutes, and it was just really the high ground breach that took him over the edge. So, Spectre is a late game hero that can't hold against too much offensive pressure, and when X Game really went 5-man with that mechanism, as I was talking about, that's what really was becoming unstoppable.
And, you know, it seemed like sort of an odd item trajectory from the Spectre, where he went for this early fighting build, got the urn, the phase, the drums, and usually that means you need to be aggressive and you invest in those items to get kills, get assists, be active around the map, and they never really had the opening to do that. There were a couple haunts, he grabbed a couple of assists, but not as much as he needed to really get that momentum, and then he goes back for the Radiance, and all those early items delay the Radiance so much that it doesn't really hurt as much as it would have, and that burn kind of tickles a little bit, and then that's your farming tool. But at that stage of the game, you need Spectre to be in every single fight, because that's when X Game is really putting on the pressure. So Arts was kind of stuck in that conundrum of no matter where he was, it was never really quite the right item at the right time.
Oh, definitely. He was swerving all over the road on that one. I mean, there is merit to each item that he picked up in this game, but the trajectory that he went with and the timing they went with just didn't do enough to prevent what XGame brought. And it was also in part the draft opening up with Skywrath Puck and looking at what XGame were able to draft up against that. They don't care about Skywrath Puck. They go ahead and just do whatever the heck they want anyways. And with the blade mails, the pipe, the mech, the BKB, they're able to just push in for the win. So this pretty much is kind of what I expected out of that opener from Compass, and they definitely need to reevaluate their positioning in this tournament strategically.
Yeah, absolutely. So good day for X Game, going 1-1. Of course, losing to Empire, they were not the favorites there, but looking good in their second game over KPG. That wraps up our coverage today. Only 2 games, and they were pretty quick ones at that. I'm Zyori, joined once again remotely by Blaze at Zyori TV and at Blaze Casting on Twitter. You can find both of those in the description of this VOD or in the title of this broadcast. Guys, I know we just had a t-shirt campaign, but our sponsors wanted to make an in-the-studio shirt after seeing how well the BTS Chroma campaign went, and we've got a special in-the-studio shirt. It was designed by Dire Dude. It's a little more pricey than the last one, up to $20 instead of $18, but same deal. It is Teespring, and we've already sold 60 out of 150. Limited time. There's about 14 days left. Of course, I'll drop a link in chat for you all if you want to check it out. Does ship internationally, and well, it's a pretty damn cool shirt. Cute little caricatures of all of the in-the-studio hosts. But that's it for us today, Blaze. And we resume tomorrow. Yeah, there is EU tomorrow, so hopefully you'll be joining me for that, pal. And we'll be right back at it.
Definitely, man. Always a pleasure. And some good games here. A little brief, but in general, it's Starladder. It's got some highs and some lows. And in this case, X Game, they're just happy to get a win out of this one. So it was very fun to cast with you, and I'll see you next time.
All right. So take care, guys. We're done. I'm off to stream. We'll catch you same place, same time tomorrow morning.